guys, how's it going? Welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. We're in unit number 3, I think it is, that we've moved to in the parade.
The third unit, yeah.
The third unit.
Yeah.
We are in unit 22, which used to be Beadles, who was on the show a while ago.
Right, in the early days, wasn't she?
Yeah, which is an absolute shame. But we're looking after this unit. We're really grateful to be here at the parade, making use of the empty units.
Yeah.
But I think like time's got to come soon where we're going to need to get somewhere permanent, aren't we, with a key to the door. And,
yeah. It's nice to try out all the different units, and obviously it's good advertising for them because they can see the space being used. But obviously for you, having to keep packing everything down and repacking it and moving it, obviously isn't the best.
It's not good for my back.
No, well, of course not.
I'm not as spry as I used to be. No, but we're really grateful to be. And this one's got no echo as well. This is low ceiling, like in carpet, so yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
it's massive though. It's massive, so I can't see us being here forever. Anyway, it's nice to see you back on the show as well, Julie, because we haven't done one for a while, have we?
I was trying to remember the last one I actually did, which would have been a Zoom one.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember what that was. I think the last one I did was probably May, maybe.
Oh no, there was one after that. I'm
was
sure.
There?
Yeah. Mm.
He's like I say, I've been so busy.
Listeners, write into the Shrewsbury Biscuit. When's the last time you heard Jules?
yeah. Please remind me when I was last on the show.
Okay. So it's nice to see you back. We've got an interesting story for you right now about how today's guest came on our show. It's really funny. So Jules is one of the biggest champions in Shropshire for the Shropshire floats. She absolutely loves the place. That's right, yeah? You love it?
Yep.
She went there and she was like, oh, we need to get you on the biscuit. And she was like, you were encouraging me to
go down there and have a
go, get them on the show. And I got this email of somebody called Harriet, and I didn't read the email properly. It's my fault. And all I saw was Harriet, Shropshire Floats, met Julie, right? And I was like, okay, cool. Shropshire Floats are on board. Let's do this. I organised the today's interview. Got in touch with Julie, and I was like, Julie, we've got Harriet from Shropshire Floats, and she was like, who? So I'd arranged this interview with Harriet, who's here today, by accident. But welcome to the show, Harriet.
Thank you.
There is a reason why you're here, of course, but I just thought that was a really funny setup to sort of how this came across. How you been? You been all right?
Not too bad, yeah. Weird times, but it's starting to get back to some sort of normality.
You say that, but I feel like there's something in the air trying to drag us back into what's going on. I mean, there's... I don't know. It is weird, but I think with every sort of inch we get, I seem to think like we're going to resort back. You know, I can't take it for granted that things are getting better.
Yeah, there's something else coming, isn't there? We're not in the clear yet.
Yeah, I'm just like, you know, because gyms have opened now, haven't they?
Gym's been open for a while now. Yeah,
so I'm like, you know. Oh well, we'll just have to go with the flow, I guess. Do you want to explain where you're from and what you do? Because I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, I am Harriet, not from Shropshire Floats.
Not from Shropshire Floats.
I am from Shropshire Event Nannies. Totally different. So we basically offer childcare at any event or party that you guys are having. We'll bring the nannies and the equipment to the event, to the venue, and take care of the children while the adults let their hair down, basically.
That sounds amazing.
Isn't it?
So you've done a lot of stuff with Beth, haven't you, in the team?
Yes, we have done, yeah. We do lots of outdoor events and festivals, as well as weddings being predominantly our busiest market, really.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You'd always think with weddings that the kids are there getting involved in the wedding bit, but...
Well, yeah,
really?
It's more often than not that kids are not meant to be involved now, and people want a child-free wedding, which is exactly where we come in.
Wow.
So we're a happy medium between the two things.
Yeah, because everybody turns their nose up at a wedding. There's says, no children allowed.
Yeah.
It's also, no children? I bet there'll be one there. You know, it's always that thing. So if you can invite children and have that kind of...
Exactly. So they can be involved in the fun bits, and they can be, you know, skidding on their knees across the dance floor, which everybody loves. But during the speeches and the ceremony or the wedding breakfast, we can look after them and entertain them and keep them happy, as well as the parents then.
Oh, wow.
How'd you come across something like that then?
It kind of sprung into my head. It was actually my friend Cheryl who got married, and I had 2 children at the time. She decided to get married in Ireland, middle of the week, with no children. And I was like, what are people meant to do? And then it was just one of those light bulb moments.
Yeah.
Yep. And that was 6 years ago now.
So it was in particular, it was weddings where this came from then?
That's where it started, but we do lots of conferences and business meetings and things like that as well. So the NHS is a prime example. We did one in January where it was targeted at parents. It was a conference for parents, but then parents can't come if they've got children. So
like, was lockdown was good for you then, was it, I guess? Because there's people that couldn't really just like leave their kids at home and go to big important meetings, right?
Yeah, lockdown has been quiet. The majority of our bookings
it's been quiet.
Yeah, postponed to next year. We've started again now. We've actually done weddings and funerals already this month. So it's one of those that yeah. But we can be anywhere you need.
Do you cover the whole of Shropshire?
We cover more than Shropshire. We cover all of the surrounding counties, Wales. We've even been down to Leicestershire, London, up north as well. So yeah, anywhere is needed.
You see, I'm always really interested in people's journey with things like this because, like, when it comes to kids and weddings and events that have been planned for, I don't know, God knows how long, for a year or whatever, it's got to be perfect, right? Yeah. So when you first come up with this idea for what you're doing, what is it like when you first started? The lessons you learned, the mistakes you made, what was that like for you?
We have seen some sights and we have learned a lot of lessons, let me tell you. So I've worked in childcare for over 20 years, so I'm confident with what I do, but you never know what's going to get thrown at you at an event. And we've done weddings where they have been so drunk that they're dancing on the tables at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we have to try and keep some sort of normality and get the kids away from the
they don't need to be seeing that, do they, that early in the day?
So we have learned basically to expect the unexpected. There's lots of tricks of the trade that we use now, which I'm not going to divulge. But yeah, it's been a definite learning curve. But we're very confident with how far we've come and what we've learned now. Yeah. We know, the intricacies of the day and the timings and the plannings and stuff. So we know exactly when to sweep the kiddies off and go and get them playing so that the parents can carry on doing whatever it is they're doing. And we know when to swiftly bring them back in for photos and stuff like that.
That's a good day. That's a good day for you, yeah. What's a bad day look like?
Bad day is when... It's fine when you've got lots of older children that are very compliant and they want to play and they want to have fun. Then you've got the toddlers that just want to go in 12 different directions at the same time. And if you've not met these children before, which does happen occasionally, you've got to try and encourage them all to be in the same place. So where you've got... You do sometimes have drunken parents and drunken grandparents trying to come in and take the children and, squeeze their cheeks like they do. And you just sometimes have to put your professional head on and take charge and take control a bit. But yeah, the bad days are when you've got lots of drunken adults trying to interfere and lots of children that want to separate in 12 different directions at the same time.
Karenzilla. Sorry. Have I used the term Karen on the biscuit yet? I don't think I have.
No. I think that might be the first one.
Might be the first one.
Yeah.
It's becoming a term now, isn't it? Obviously, there are people out there that have higher expectations of life than others. Oh, yeah. And what's that like for you? Because obviously you can be doing a perfectly fine job and there'll be the odd person that will just want to nitpick and be like, what? To
be honest, we don't get it very often.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Only once or twice, and it tends to be the grandparents who think they know best. Yeah. But the majority of the time, everyone is really happy that we're there and they let us take control and do our thing. Yeah. Which is great. It's really nice when you can have the children in a separate room, you can do your own thing, totally take control of it, and there's no interference. And yeah, generally, I mean, you're there on a happy occasion. Yeah, so it's really nice, and everybody's in a good mood, and everybody just wants to have a nice day. Yeah. And so do we. So that's...
So how do you guys get sort of linked in? Do the to-be married couple contact you, or can it be through like a wedding planner if a wedding planner's sorting out the whole wedding?
Absolutely, anyway. We're recommended suppliers to lots of the venues, so they always tell the couples and the brides and grooms about us. Generally, obviously, Facebook and Instagram are amazing for us because that's where you get your contact generally for customers. And then we work closely with lots of wedding planners as well. But it doesn't necessarily have to be the bride and groom that book us. If you've got a guest coming to the event, they can book us directly as well. So if they want a nanny just for their children, either in the evening or through the day, they can book us. So it doesn't have to be something that falls as a cost to the bride and groom.
So if you're at an event like that, so like say like a wedding,
yeah,
and so I'm guessing that a separate room or a separate area has to be supplied to you, or is that something you sort out with the venues?
That's the ideal situation.
Okay.
Lots of the venues now have separate rooms, and large bedrooms or reception areas, that sort of thing. We can utilise any space, and we've turned up to venues and we've been given sort of a 6 foot square size for 20 children, and you're going, yeah, that's not going to work.
No.
So we learn to work on our feet and quick think and see what we can do. Outside is amazing though. Outside for kids is great, and that's generally what we do. Or a side room in the hotel.
How big's your team?
There's about 20 of us at the moment.
Okay.
Lots of them are full-time in childcare anyway, and then they just do this as a little side thing. We've got teachers, we've got paramedics, nurses, nursery nurses, absolutely anybody you can imagine on the team.
Okay, so you've
so
got
really well
broad
spread.
range.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, I've been to Oktoberfest. We both have, haven't we?
Yeah.
You look at Beth and Rachel and Claire and the guys from the team there. They're just pedal to the metal all the time, back into whether the driving festival Beth was back into on the Segway, or the whole team were. It must be really difficult for them to be running that whilst looking after their kids.
Exactly.
What's it like for the kids to experience that? I mean, because obviously they have none the wiser, some of the younger kids, but some of the big kids might get a bit stressful about that. You know?
Exactly. I think kids, when their routine changes, stress sort of is imminent, really. They love routine. They like to know what they're doing, who they're with, that sort of thing. So, for instance, weddings, if your mum and dad are getting married, if they're little children, they're going to be in different places. Their food's at the wrong time. They're going to be seeing people that want to smother them and haven't seen them in years. So it's going to be really stressy. So having a constant person to look after them for the entire day, one dedicated person, is that little bit of ease and stress relief. But for example, Beth's children, when she's manic at these events, we've looked after Beth's kids before, so that she can fully focus on what she's doing, and we'll have the kids, because sometimes they do get, not Beth's children in particular, I add, sometimes when your parent is in a busy job like that, the kids do get a little bit not left behind, but expected to kind of follow everything else as well, and they get whipped here and whipped there and dragged from pillar to post. So having a nice comfortable base where it's cozy and it's comfortable and they've got toys and games or just chill out space, somewhere that's their space and their dedicated bit, then it's just instant ease.
You've got. It must be hard to try and remain professional though when you build up a relationship with these kids over years, I guess. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they're gone. They're not looking after them anymore. Is it hard?
More than anything, it makes you feel really old. But yeah, we've done. There's a family in particular I'm thinking of. We did their wedding 4 or 5 years ago, and we still babysit for them now. They've had more children since then. I've been invited to their baby shower and that sort of thing, and now you're like a real part of the family. And when it gets to the point where they don't need you anymore, it's a bit like you're letting go of quite a big part of your life, really, because you do get really involved. But it's lovely. It's really nice when you do repeat work for people. That's the best bit, probably. So
how have you how did you adapt then during lockdown, because obviously there was no events where children needed, there obviously were still nurseries and places open, obviously for key workers' children, but how did you guys adapt to that sort of period?
So we're quite fortunate in the fact that most of us have full-time jobs or part-time jobs anyway. The ones that work in schools and nursery nurses that work in the preschools and the nurseries, they were all okay because, like I say, key workers still had to go to work. So that was all right. For us, most of our weddings and things obviously have been postponed to next year. So next year is chock-a-blocker already. We've even got bookings now for 2023. I know. So lockdown was really hard, but we were still office-based trying to organise everything. So there was still a lot of work going on under the radar.
Yeah.
And, I was lucky enough, my boy's he was in reception, so he could go back to school
cool.
when everything started coming back at the end of the year. But a lot of parents, kids were back at home still. How was that for you? Did you have lots of people getting in contact, being like, "Yo, I've got a thing I've got to go to. The kids aren't in school. Can you help me out?" Did you have a lot of that?
We did, yeah, and lots of people planning for September when the kids go back full time as well. So we had lots of people panicking, saying, "We need somebody in the morning to do drop-offs, and we need this and we need that." Obviously, we try and help as much as we can, but the fact that most of our nannies work full time already, it can be a bit tricky. But obviously funerals still had to take place. I know it's not an awesome subject to talk about.
It's an important part of life.
But with the numbers being restricted for that as well, obviously children couldn't go. So we did quite a few funerals, sadly, which is the slightly more sombre side of our job. But, if we're helping families, we're helping families, and that's what we do. So
it's all part of life, though, isn't it? Unfortunately, death. So
yeah, absolutely. And did it really... I hate asking this because we've spoken to businesses that have literally launched during lockdown. Like as soon as things were able to go, Manola Moss upstairs in eyelashes, she was left waiting for months.
Yeah.
And then when she was about to launch, Boris was like, "Oh, we're going to have to make you wait 2 more weeks."
Oh, yeah.
And then she was like, "What? The launch party plan." How did it affect you guys financially? Was it hard for you guys? Did you manage okay? Was it looking touch and go?
We've done all right. Because most of the nannies are self-employed. So thankfully I didn't have wages or furlough or anything to worry about from that side of things. Obviously we've had to purchase a lot of PPE for when we go back.
Yeah.
We've purchased, all of the standard masks, gloves, aprons, hand wash, sanitizer. We've also bought a big hand wash station, like a big camping one, so that the kids can wash their hands when they come to the events. So although they're all things that are great and we're going to use, it's money out of the bank that we wouldn't have normally spent. Deposits have all been paid. So, we've got a lot of events next year where we're not going to get more deposits coming in.
No.
So it has been a struggle, but we're still holding our heads up and we're still going strong.
Good.
Which I'm really proud about.
Yeah, definitely. So what's your next event coming up then?
We have got a wedding next month. What month are we in now? We're in September, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got one in October, one in November, and one in December that are all still hoping to go ahead. They're slightly smaller than they initially were, but it's still good, and we're very excited to get back to it.
Yeah, I bet.
I imagine it's your livelihood.
It is, yeah.
Something you built, and I can imagine it being, just terrible the last few months for you guys.
I think it's the same for everybody, and I think everybody's just in such shock as to what's happened and the changes everybody's had to make and the diversity as well.
Yeah.
But everybody you just get on with it, don't you? I guess.
Yeah, that's the attitude I get a lot. Speaking to a lot of people, it's just like, well, everybody's in the same boat.
Yeah.
I think it's good. That adds strength to you, doesn't it? Acknowledging the fact that you're not the only one that's going through this. There's lots of people out there.
Exactly.
That's good. I imagine an event for you to be absolute chaos. Just kids just climbing up the walls, crayons everywhere, and dirty nappies. I don't know, whatever. You must see it all, right?
I certainly do. Yeah. That's kind of why we're there, and we try to eliminate those things. But it does happen. Every single event can be totally different. We can have events where there's just 1 or 2 children and 1 nanny throughout the day. We do some where we're in the wedding ceremony and we're sat at the front with the bride's mother. They're really surreal
like
moments.
A chaperone service.
Exactly.
Type thing,
If you've got little flower girls and things that are going to be kicking off in the middle of a ceremony, then we can just nip them out the back or make sure they're at the front where they're meant to be, that sort of thing. But then you get others where, we're insured to have up to 30 children at a time, if you can imagine 30 children at a wedding. Yeah, exactly. Those are the ones where you've got them climbing on the tables and dirty nappies everywhere. But, like I say, we try to keep them in a side room so that we're not causing chaos everywhere else. And we have lots of organised activities and games and things that are tailor-made to their age group. So in theory, they should be engaged with what we've got. And the experience that our nannies have got is amazing. So if they can sense that it's getting a little bit out of control, then we'll diversify and we'll take them outside for a game of hide and seek or the parachute or sports day things.
Yeah.
So we're very good at noticing when things are slightly getting out of hand. We always have people that, do constant toilet runs with the toddlers and that sort of thing, because it's very often that somebody just sat in a corner quietly and you think, hang on a minute, this isn't right. Do you need the toilet? Yes, I do now. And you have to do an emergency run.
So it's technically a mobile nursery then?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you are. That's cool.
Yeah.
What about kids with sort of speciality diets, special needs, things like that? Do you help with things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. We're lucky enough that we don't have to provide food or anything. That's generally done by the venues.
Okay.
So any allergies or anything like that is normally covered by them. But we do get a rundown of every child before we start looking after them, so we know if they've got any allergies, medications, additional needs, things like that. And lots of our nannies are trained in additional needs through their full-time jobs generally anyway. So lots of them are teachers, and we'll have these speciality diplomas and various qualifications as well, which helps us immensely. And we do lots of events where you've got children with autism or Asperger's, that sort of thing. So we are covering a whole bracket of qualifications within our team, which is amazing.
Well, nice to hear.
Do you do or I'm just trying to visualise, like, you sort of, where you've got an event coming up and potentially it could be strange children, isn't it, that you've never met before. So do you put a process in place where you would try and, even get the opportunity to meet them pre the event so that they feel comfortable with you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. We do a meet and greet session where not so much if you've got a massive group of children, because they could be located all around the UK or different countries, and it's going to be very hard to meet them all. But if you've got one specific family, like the bride and groom, and we're looking after their children, we'll go to their house beforehand, have a half hour, 45-minute play with the children, so that we get to know them and they get to know us. Because if you can imagine, if you're a 5-year-old child, it's a really random day, everybody's dressed differently, you're in a totally random place, and then you're thrown into this room with this lady who you've never met before. It's not going to go well. So we always try and meet the children beforehand, especially if they've got additional needs, because then we can see exactly what we're working with.
No, I'm not doing it, so I'm joking.
This is it. It gives us a back out clause then.
How are you guys keeping things safe with the pandemic? Things like how you make sure social distance is recognised, and PPE and all sorts of stuff? So
social distancing with children is a nightmare, as you probably know. So we do the best that we can. Going forward, what we're saying is, if we can work outdoors, we will work outdoors, because that gives us the best opportunity to have more children. If we're working indoors, we've got all of our PPE, so our nannies will have masks if needed. If we can't do social distancing, we've got aprons for when we're changing nappies, gloves for when we're handling food and doing nappies. Like I said, we've got the hand wash station as well, so when everybody arrives. We also take temperatures of parents and children on arrival and make a log of that.
Good, yeah.
So we've got all of that in place. It's just a learning curve for everybody to keep up on top of it, isn't it?
Everyone's improvising. It's kind of like just gonna.
That's interesting you say about, because I was talking to a couple of my clients the other day who've got kids, and they've said, like they've been dreading, like, the call from the school.
Yes.
Your child's got a sniffly nose. Come and collect them, and you take 2 weeks off work.
Exactly.
When they've just gone back to work. So they're obviously, the parents are actually quite fearful at the moment from that point of view. More about not so much the kid's got a sniffly nose, because it's children have sniffly noses all the time.
It's
and
when
it's
their
probably
mate gets
nothing.
it as well, though. Their mate gets it, and they're in the bubble. So because one's got it, the other's got it.
Yeah, but I think what they were trying to point out to me is it's more about the parents, because that child then has to come out of school, and then the parents then have to stay off, and then they've lost 2 weeks opportunity of work again. So I'm guessing you guys are going to have to deal with that sort of scenario as well. Or would you?
Well, I am one of those parents as well. I've got 2 children who have just gone back to school this week. So I know exactly where you're coming from. The children that we look after, it's generally only for a few hours. Obviously, we try and get a background first. So if anybody has had a persistent cough or any of those signs and signals, then we would be very dubious about taking them on. But I think the thing with our events is the parents are all on site anyway.
Yeah.
So if we do have an issue, the parents straight there. They probably wouldn't miss the rest of the event because we could always go and look after the child up in a separate bedroom and isolate them up there while the parents just carried on that little bit longer.
Yeah.
Yes, you might have to then do the tests, and if it comes back positive, then isolate for 2 weeks. But I don't know. I think it's going to happen, isn't it? With all the schools going back, everybody at the same time.
I mean, this is what I was talking about. The kids going back to school, and I don't know. I try to be optimistic.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's hard, isn't it? I want things to go back to normal. I mean, like we were about to blossom the biscuit. We were about to go out and smash it, and we couldn't do it anymore. But hey, we're here. So, like I was saying earlier, your job must be crazy at times.
Yes.
What do you like to do to wind down when there's no kids about? It's just you, and you want to forget about all that and recharge your batteries. What do you like to do?
Shropshire Floats, obviously. Genuinely though, Shropshire Floats is amazing. We've me and my partner go there quite a bit. We're lucky enough to live in the middle of nowhere, which is idyllic. So we've got walks aplenty. We love being outside in the country. My other half is a climbing instructor as well, so we do quite a bit of climbing. He's trying to get me up on the rock faces and that sort of thing, which scares the poop out of me a little bit, but you've got to kind of find your inner strength. So we do lots of stuff like that, which is great because I think it just clears the mind when you, especially I'm very much a country bumpkin. I don't do towns. Couldn't relax in a place like London, but put me in the countryside and it's amazing. I really want to try wild swimming and like wild camping as well.
They do wild swimming up at Alderford Lake.
Yes.
So
I'm scared, but I want to try it.
Just wear a wetsuit because it'll be very cold. That's the only thing.
See, when you think of wild camping, the stuff I used to do when I was a kid all the time. We used to just walk around with a tent and be like, this'll do.
Yeah.
But when we get older, we're kind of like, oh my God. That's interesting though. That's interesting. They're just being out there in the quiet, recharging your batteries.
I think that's probably what it is, because when you're with children, there is no quiet. Not from beginning to end. It's constant. There's something going on. So I think for me, just a nice bit of tranquility and calm and quiet it just brings me back down to where I should be.
Definitely.
Is there anything that that COVID has brought you where you've had to evolve? Is there any, because I've heard a lot about businesses that have had to use Zoom a lot more for things, or organise things for virtual festivals. We've had virtual people that are now selling online where they wouldn't sell one before. Is there anything that COVID's brought you that you've actually appreciated?
To be honest, that's quite a tricky question because we've had so many postponements. I've just been sat at my computer constantly. It's been lovely to have some downtime, I'm not going to lie. It's been really nice, especially with the kids being off school as well. So that's been it has been really, really lovely. But as far as the business goes, it's still just chugging on as it was. And although we've not had as many events, we still have had events and we still have had bookings. We've done lots of virtual wedding fairs as well, instead of actually going to the venues and standing behind a table. So we've done the online ones where we've done videos and had competitions online and that sort of thing, which is a little bit weird, but possibly the way forward. I don't know. But I'm just really looking forward to getting back to the venues and seeing everybody again and all the other wedding suppliers as well. And just getting back to actual seeing people face to face.
It's going to be great. I think 2021 is going to be if everything goes back to normal and they're like, you can travel again, we can party again, we can have events, we can do this. It's probably going to be one of the most heavily partied years.
Oh my God, it will be
in history.
Everyone's going to go full out, aren't they?
It will be like 2020 will be erased from the sort of like Annals of history. Take that out of the diary. It doesn't exist
well,
anymore.
If anybody is planning a party and needs childcare, please give Shropshire Event Nannies a call.
I saw a meme last night. It was just when you thought 2020 would give you everything, and there's a picture of Vin Diesel with hair.
Oh,
and I was like,
I saw that,
yeah, that he looks really weird.
That's an really old film, but it's like 2020 is the year that becomes a meme. Of course. It has been a terrible year, but I mean, there have been some positives as well, and I keep saying this to people. Even though there's been so much catastrophical, horrible stuff that's happened. People have evolved, There was somebody saying that the technologies that we've got now because of COVID are things that probably we would have had to wait till 2023, with Zoom and things like that. So this is why I always ask people, what are the positives that's come out of this? Because we can sit there and slam 2020, 2020 this. But I've seen some positives. I mean, the biscuit has really evolved.
Yeah, well, you was able to carry on. I think that's the thing, isn't it? Using Zoom, doing the interviews. I mean, okay, it probably leaves... You probably have a bit more editing to do with sound and that, I suspect, but...
we've gone so good at doing these interviews now that when we first did it would be like, take this out, take this out, shorten this and stuff, but we've actually gone really good. We've got like a click now as a team, so there's less to do, and Zoom is brilliant for that.
But even for businesses, like you're saying about the positive, for some business, okay, there is the downside because if they're now doing the working from home scenario, they might not need as many staff, potentially, so that's obviously the downside. But the working from home from people, so it's less travel, so there's less congestion on the road, which is going to be better for the environment. Hopefully people are still trying to get out and exercise. Obviously everyone suddenly that was never a walker went walking for an hour because they were told they could.
That was hilarious.
But you'd hope that people would continue that, because then that could obviously help with the nation's health, which means the future needs on the NHS will be less. I think the whole stuff around not just going and piling yourself down to A&E for any left, right and centre little I've got a cough, or I've scratched my nail, anything like that stopped that. And I think people then realise, you didn't need to go to A&E for that. Exactly. So that'll be a positive for the
I'm now at a stage as well where I'm thinking, why was social distancing never a thing? I went to Chessington for the weekend last weekend with my boy and my wife, and the queues were all spaced out, you know. And I was
it's
just
quite
like,
nice, isn't it?
It is nice. It is. My other half loves this from the whole social distancing point of view thing, because he's not a up close and personal with people at all. So he's like, this is brilliant because this is my world, doing that. I mean, there are other elements of this that are not totally brilliant for him, but in terms of that, let's just go with social distancing. Then the masks aren't needed. This needed. And just wash your hands. Why weren't people washing their hands before?
I know, exactly.
That's what he can't ever get his head
in
around as well.
Washing hands is like the main thing.
Norm.
You do it constantly. So for anybody that works in childcare, this is normality. It's what you do all the time anyway.
And it's the same with me. I said, because obviously I do all the dog stuff. So I always wash my hands with touching dog. Right, wash your hands.
Yeah,
giving them food, wash your hands. So that was all natural. But I suppose for people in offices working at desks, it probably was less natural.
Very much.
I'd imagine for that sort of audience.
The hand washing for me was, whenever you eat or before you eat and after you eat, when you go to the toilet, it's something like wash your hands. But it's like things like when I'm working, if I go for a patrol and I've opened up doors and things like that, I will wash my hands then. Or if I've been for a cigarette, I'll come back and wash my hands. Things like that just reinforce those extra times to wash your hands.
Just
things
more
like
conscious of it, aren't you then, I think?
Is that difficult with the kids as well? It must be, because the kids aren't brilliant at washing their hands and stuff, are they?
They're not great. Although, if you
make competitions of that,
if you make it fun,
like
it can be fun. We've got obviously lots of bubbly soap and stuff. Any bubbles and colours makes anything fun, doesn't it? And now it's like habit that when they come into our creche, they wash their hands, and the parents generally do it with them as well, so that encourages them along. And the new hand wash station that we've got is one of those, when you go camping, you've got one of those foot pedals.
Oh yeah.
It's really cool, and the kids love it. It's great. It's fun. It squeaks and it makes noise. So.
My mama had one of them. She lived on a canal barge for a bit, and she had one of them for the actual sink. You have to
yeah.
and then Funny.
Start doing it to music, couldn't you then?
If COVID-19 hadn't have happened, what would the future have looked like for you guys? And then on the flip side, what does it look like for you now?
Yeah, so 2020 was meant to be our busiest year. We had more bookings this year than we've ever had before. Childcare at weddings isn't one of the top 5 things that they think about. It's the cake, the venue, the photographer, the dress, those sorts of things. Childcare comes further down the line. But I think now that more people know what we do and how much we help and what a stress-free day it can be, they're booking us more. So 2020 was meant to be a mega big year for us. Obviously, COVID has put a stop to that. It's put a stop to my wedding as well. We were meant to get married in May.
Yeah, how the half was saying, telling me.
And then we moved ours to July, and then it got cancelled again. So we've had our wedding cancelled twice. So I can totally appreciate where everyone's coming from. So I think, yes, COVID has put a dampener on 2020 in the fact that we haven't actually been out and physically done all of these bookings. But we're lucky enough that they've all just postponed for next year or the next 2 years coming up. So next year,
even busier.
Because of COVID,
it's your busiest year.
It's definitely going to be our busiest year. It's looking manic already.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, we're rolling in the money, but we've got no time to spend it.
This is it, exactly. We've literally, more and more people now are getting married midweek as well. So you're getting lots on Thursdays, Fridays. And lots of weeks next year, we've got bookings Thursday, Fridays and Saturdays.
Wow.
So we're literally back to back.
Yeah.
And it is going to be big.
I imagine. Do you work well with, are there other companies that you work with? I mean, a lot of weddings, people that do weddings have flower people, or so for nurseries, I imagine you have like toy suppliers that you go to and cleaning products you always go. Is there companies that you work with locally?
To be honest, we've got a massive collection of toys and games already that we, not churn out, but we bring out each time. We work really well with the photographers. The photographers say that we're a godsend because you often get children photobombing, all the group shots and the family shots. So we're good at those times, and the photographers say that we're a godsend. The DJs as well, because when the DJ has that sort of desk at the front with the hanging sheet and the lights, that's a great place for kids to hide under and to pull on the lights. So when we're there in the evening for the reception and stuff as well, the DJs love it because they don't have the children pulling all their equipment down and trying to climb the speakers and that sort of thing. So those are sort of the two guys in the daytime that think we're pretty epic. And then it's lovely to see when we do work closely with the bride and groom, if they've got the flower girls or the page boys as well, and we're in the rooms when they're all getting dressed and ready as well. It's a really exciting part of the day. Especially when the bride's getting her makeup done and everything, and you're in there as well. It's lovely. It's really nice to be included in stuff like that.
Has there been people that you've met along your path? They look at you and they go, "Oh, Harriet's here. It's cool. It's good." I know her.
We get lots of weddings booked because we've done, their sister's wedding or their auntie's wedding or whatever, and they'll say, "Can we please have Harriet and the team because we know that it's just going to be organised and stress free." People, I've had lots of, the mothers of the brides saying, "Oh my God, you're so calm and relaxed and organised. You're just taking all the stress away from it." I was like, "That's exactly why I'm here." Yeah. And then you walk off and go, "Oh my God, what's going on now?" I'm a bit like a swan, I think, because everybody thinks you're so organised and calm. And on the top and on the outskirts, I am very much so. But inside, you're thinking about what's coming next, what's going to happen next, and where you're going to need to be. So there's a lot to organise and a lot to do, but hopefully we all carry it off well. And we've got a great team that know exactly what they're doing, so we can chuck them into anything, and they'll come up smelling good.
And how can people get in touch with you to book you?
So Facebook is amazing. Obviously, we get lots of inquiries through there. You can see all of our offers and things on there. So that's Shropshire Event Nannies. We've got our website as well, which is www.shropshireeventnannies.co.uk. And email as well. So you can find all of the details on there. But if you get in contact via the website or anything, you'll come straight to me and I will sort you out.
I'll sort you out. Sorted.
That was very EastEnders style, wouldn't it?
I'll sort you out. I love that. That was very much the butcher, wasn't it? Oh, sorry. I love how we've met. I love how this has happened.
It was random.
It was brilliant. It was the universe saying, "You need to speak to Harriet. Like this is how I'm going to set it up for you, dog. Like this is what's going to happen." And I love that. You've been great to talk to.
Thank you.
2021 is going to be the biggest year in the millennium. I got to imagine it's going to be party central. So if you are looking for someone to look after your kids, I mean, what kind of parties do you just do? Any parties? Is it just weddings and
no,
events?
absolutely anything. Like we do lots of New Year,
bar mitzvahs, things like that.
Yeah, we've done christenings, like I say, funerals, big birthday celebrations. 50s, 60s, 70s parties. That sort of, and it's basically any event that is adult orientated where children will be as well.
Yeah.
So if the adults are wanting to party and the children happen to be there, then that's our
old school
our
90s
event.
rave.
Oh yeah, no,
No, maybe not. I was thinking, the 90s revival, but no.
best to keep the kids away from that one.
So there you go. Make sure you go to Shropshire Event Nannies to find them. You've been great to talk to. Have you got anything to add, Julie?
No, fascinating though, because I didn't know that this was a thing.
Yeah, lots of people don't.
So
Thank you for helping us out.
Yeah.
It's been great talking to you. I would love to give our listeners the opportunity to check out our website as well, which is www.shrewsburybiscuitpodcast.co.uk. We have all of our audio available on there. You can also get in touch with us as well. We're looking for like new ways of doing things. We're looking for people that want to come on the show. Anybody wants to get involved with sponsorships or adverts, anything like that. Just get in touch. You can message us through the website and we'll get back in touch with you. Our website is made by Web Orchard, isn't it, Julie?
It is, yes, Web Orchard, one of our sponsors.
If you need a website, make sure you go to Web Orchard. They're awesome. They'll sort you out.
Yeah.
Thank you, Harriet. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys, and peace out. Take it easy.